All right, today we'll be talking about using the past perfect tense, mainly because a lot of people seem to be having difficulty choosing when to use it and how to use it appropriately. Our agenda for this lecture is I'll begin with a quick announcement, then we'll move on to how to form the past perfect, and then when and how we use the past perfect tense, and then we'll finish up with a few examples for practice. All right, a quick announcement. I'm going to make a few adjustments to our lecture format based on some recent research I've read indicating that online lectures tend to be more effective if they stay around 6 minutes in length. Most of our lectures have been considerably longer than that. And so I'm going to try this out and see how effective this new method would be. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give me feedback on the new lecture format on the course website and probably a discussion board, so take a look for that. Okay, to form the past perfect tense, we basically just take the verb had plus the past participle of the verb that we intend to use. So this is very simple to form. I had gone, we had remembered, they had called. It's a very easy way to form the past perfect tense. Okay, we're going to discuss three main ways to use the past perfect tense in our writing. First of all, to describe a completed action before another past event. Secondly, in reported speech, in which the person is talking about something in the past. And finally, for conditional statements using if. Okay, first of all, a completed action before a past event when we use the past perfect. In this situation, imagine you have two events, both of them completed. Both things have happened in the past. One of these happened further back in the past. They were longer ago than the other. We can describe both of these events using the simple past initially. Kim ate dinner. I arrived. These are two events, both of which are completed. We want to combine these two events and show that one of them was completed before the next happened. In this case, Kim had eaten dinner when I arrived. This means Kim's dinner was completed, she had finished eating her dinner, when I arrived in the door. So that means that there was no dinner being eaten on my arrival. Now, what does it mean if we just use the simple past? Now, this is still grammatically correct, but it changes the meaning. If I change this to both clauses in the simple past, Kim ate dinner when I arrived. This now means that Kim waited to eat her dinner until my arrival. That means that she hadn't eaten anything until I walked in the door. So we use the past perfect tense to show that one action in the past is over when another action in the past occurs. The next situation in which we can use the past perfect is in reported speech. This is very important for us, especially when we're using sources and referring to sources in our writing. We have a quote. Jamie said, quote, I have gone skydiving before. Now imagine that we want to use those words and talk about what Jamie said, but we don't want to use a quote. In this case, we can use reported speech. Jamie said she had gone skydiving before. This is a way for us to describe what she said about an action in the past, but without using a direct quote. Finally, the last way that we can use the past perfect tense is with conditional statements using if. These conditional statements are situations in the past that did not happen and the expected result from that non-event. I have three different examples here, all of them basically the same. If I had known you were coming, I would have waited for you. This means I didn't wait for you because I didn't know you were coming. We can continue with the if she had seen the announcement, she wouldn't have been late. This means she was late because she didn't see the announcement. Finally, if we had worked harder, we would have gotten better grades. This means we didn't get good grades because we didn't work hard. All of these sentences are constructed in a way that begin with if, and the first clause ends with a comma followed by the second clause. It is possible to reverse the clauses and remove the comma. So for example, the first sentence could be reversed and read, I would have waited for you if I had known you were coming. The meaning is exactly the same here. Okay, now for a little bit of practice. There are 3 sentences here that we're using as examples, and we want to know which of these displays correct usage of the past perfect tense. All of these sentences are taken from actual student writing. So take a look at each of these and decide which one you think is the correct answer. Okay, if you guessed number 2 is correct, you are right. This is an excellent usage of the past perfect tense. Number 1 and number 3 are not correct. They are not the best usage of the past perfect. And for number 1, if this is describing a completed action, it would be better to use the simple past in this sentence, used. So Biden used significant parts of speeches from Kennedy and Humphrey. Number 3, this is describing a state or an action that took place in the past and continues to the present time. Cases of plagiarism are still occurring. It's not something that happened and is over. So it's better to use the present perfect, have been. That means there have been many in the past. There still are some. All of these sentences are taken from actual student papers. So if you wrote number 2, good for you. If you didn't, if you wrote number 1 or number 3, don't worry. Now you know the right way to use the present or the past perfect.